Well, hello everyone. My name is Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today I'll be tying one of my favorite leech patterns, especially to cast and strip in. I've done really well with this pattern over the last 10, 12 years. Um, it's, uh, it's a pattern that's fairly simple to tie, and you can change it up quite easily, just depending on the materials you use. So here we go. We'll switch over. That's what we're going to be tying. Really simple, gives a little bit of shine through it, and yeah, really effective pattern. Actually, I forgot to grab that right there. I'll need that out. So, what we'll be using is the new Semperfli SemperSeal. That's a seal fur substitute in black for the tail and for the collar, let's call it. For the body, we'll be using some Semperfli hollow tinsel, and for the rib, we'll be using some Semperfli red wire in a 0.2 mil, sorry, and black Semperfli Nano silk. So, yep, and the bead. I really like the. Sorry, I'm talking weird because I got the hook in my mouth. For this pattern, I really like the flat black beads. I don't like the shiny ones for this. Just my taste. I've tied this one with like a green bead, orange bead, silver bead, gold bead. Gold bead works quite well as well, but this seems to be the best combination that I've come across. So I'm just gonna start my thread as always. Just get a little base layer going. Cut off my excess. It's fairly simple fly as well. Use whatever materials you have around. This seals fur substitute that Semperfli just came up with, excuse me, I just dropped it. It's quite nice. It's got some nice shiny properties to it. It's kind of translucent in some ways, and it's the one thing that some people really like, some people don't, is it's got really long fibers in it. So like really long fibers. So that's great for some cases. In other cases it's not as great because I mean, you don't want these long fibers. But in this case it's nice because you can cut these. I mean, you just cut it, right? If you don't want it that long, you just cut it. So now all I'm doing is I've got a pile of it, and I'm just kind of aligned it up, and I folded it over to form my tail material that I want, and I'll just pull out what I don't want in there. I'll put it in a pile so I can use it later, because I don't want some of these really long ones, which is fine. I don't want to cut this though. Okay, so that'll do. And I want it about a little bit more than the length of the body. So now I'll just cut that off there, and I save that because, I mean, it's just dubbing, right? So now I'm just going to lay it in right there and catch it in. All the way back to roughly where the barb is, and under the tail, over, under the tail, and over. Locks it in, helps it stay up. Don't want too thick of a tail on this one. You can go a little bit thicker if you wanted to, but not too thick. Okay. Now, I'm going to tie in some of the red wire. Just catch it in on the side here. You see how I caught it in on the way up? Now I'll take my silver hollow tinsel, and I'll catch it in on the way down. Could have caught both in on the way up, but or on the way down, but this is the way I've just done it with this fly for whatever reason. That's what I've always done with this fly. So I've been using this fly for a while. It's really, like I said, it's a very productive fly. It gets hammered, right? So did extremely well with this one at Badger Lake in BC there a couple years ago. So I'm just trying to see where I am, because I want to go right into that tie-in point of the black, and then I'm going to come back forward right behind that bead, take my tinsel, that wire out of the way. And I'm going to counter wrap. I'm going to like back wrap this one. Oh, by the way, this is a Hends BL 354 in a size 8. This hook, but you can use whatever. Sorry, I'll let that go. Whatever nymph hook you you like, or leech hook, whatever you use for your leeches. I'm just gonna redo that. Too busy yakking and not paying attention. Overlapping wraps, just slightly overlapping because I don't want to leave any gaps if possible. Really not going to notice it, but if there is a bit of a gap, but tie that off. Tie it off. Nip off my waist. Now I'll go the opposite direction with my wire. And you can use like tinsel if you want, like a small, extra small tinsel for the wrap as well. Just adds this here adds just that tiny a little bit more weight, and I find it helps just keep it together too. The wire. I almost used my good scissors to cut that. I usually just helicopter that off, but whatever. So now I'm gonna counter spin, open my thread up, flatten my thread out. I'm going to take some more of this black. And you see how it's just kind of clumped together? I'm just going to kind of lay it on top, pull it out, lay it on top, pull it out. I want to align these fibers a bit so they're more aligned with each other. All right. So once that's good, and this is flattened out, might have overspun it. Sucks when you don't have nails trying to split thread. It's easier when you got nails. Because then you can kind of rub it, right? So the Semperfli stuff normally splits like nothing. But I'll get it eventually here. My eyesight's not the greatest, that's not helping either. There we go. Just have to get the right spin. So now I'm going to take my dubbing and I'm just going to lay it right in there, and I'm going to spread this. I don't want it clumped together, I want it spread out. Okay, give it a good spin. I'm just going to wrap this right behind the head there. Come back a bit if you have to. Keep that material back. Actually, a little bit too much, so I'll take some of that off. Oh. What finish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a little tiny bit of Sally Hansen's right onto the thread. Not a lot, just a little bit right at the beginning there. help that get into those, behind that bead there. Lock it. I always like doing at least 2 sets of whip finishes with leeches, because I usually end up pulling out the, like really getting aggressive with the dubbing, but in this one I don't get too aggressive. I'm just going to pull out a little bit of that dubbing in the front. There we go. That is it. As I said, I've been using this one for a few years now, and it's been just deadly. So, and you can nip however long you want your tail, right? So, there, it's got a little bit of that thicker collar on it. I can even maybe pull out a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of that thicker collar, and then when this gets wet, you'll just barely see that silver through it, but it shines through, that silver and that red, and the fish go nuts. They go bonkers on that thing. So, it's been, like I said, I got it, gets pounded pretty good. Just wetting my fingers here to show you how when it streamlines down, right? So you just see that red shine through it. So you want to make it fairly sparse, right? You don't want it too thick. You want to be able to see that silver through there, right? So, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Put that on a, well, it depends where you're fishing, but type 1 sink, even a sink tip in shallower waters, type 1 sink, type 3 sink, and just rip that into the shallows and strip her back. She gets hammered pretty good. So if you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you have not, please consider doing so. Once we hit 1,000, I'll be giving away a copy of the books I wrote, as well as a selection of flies that I've tied on this channel. So spread the word, and we'll go from there. Tie lines, everyone.